What's going on, guys? My name's Andrew. I run MMA Knockout Bets. MMA Knockout Bets is a MMA betting service. I've been betting on fights for a really long time, for years now. I've been tracked on Bet MMA, which is a third-party tracking service where the last 1,164 bets that I've made are all tracked on there. If you want to get access to all of my premium betting content, including all of my bets for this weekend, PFL, UFC, Bellator, LFA, every bet I make for every organization is on my Patreon. It's linked in the description below. My Bet MMA is linked in the description below as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Bets and Picks MMA. And before I jump into this, if you could follow me on Twitter and like this video, that'd be awesome. Again, Twitter at Bets and Picks MMA. Like this video. Thank you guys. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. This is actually my second time that I'm going to record this video. I did a breakdown for Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez 15 minutes ago and realized after I recorded the video that I wasn't using my new microphone. So the audio sounded terrible. I said, screw it. Going to re-record it. Don't want to half-ass this. Want to make sure I'm getting you guys good content. So anyway, I'm going to break this down for a second time right now. This will be your guys' first time hearing it, so hopefully you enjoy. Kevin Lee taking on Daniel Rodriguez at 170 pounds. We've got Kevin Lee at a minus 150 favorite. We've got Daniel Rodriguez at a plus 120 favorite. What does that mean? So as far as implied odds go, minus 150, that means the books are saying Kevin Lee has a 60% chance to win. Plus 120, the books are saying that Daniel Rodriguez has a 45% chance to win. Obviously, that doesn't add up to 100 on the nose, and the reason for that is because the books put a hold in there to give themselves a slight edge. So if you think that Kevin Lee has a 65% chance to win this fight, and your odds have him as a 5% edge over the books, then you'd probably be betting Kevin Lee in that spot. If you think Kevin Lee wins this fight 7 out of 10 times, then you'd be betting Kevin Lee in this spot. If you think that Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Lee is kind of a 50-50 fight, you'd probably be betting Daniel Rodriguez in this spot. I'm going to do some more videos about implied odds and kind of betting theory and all that good stuff in the future, but going to go a little bit more deep into this specific matchup. Kevin Lee, only 28 years old, turns 29 in a couple weeks. Pretty crazy that he's still on the right side of 30, considering he's had a bunch of UFC fights, been in the UFC since 2014, which is pretty crazy. He's fought some huge names. Charles Oliveira, his most recent fight, back in March of 2020. He's coming off a pretty long layoff here due to knee surgery. He obviously had that head kick win over Gregor Gillespie, which I saw in person. And like I said, has fought some of the who's who at 155. Edson Barboza, who's main eventing this weekend, he stopped back in 2018. He fought Tony Ferguson for the interim title in 2017. He's fought RDA. He's fought Michael Chiesa. He actually submitted Michael Chiesa, which is a pretty cool feat considering that Michael Chiesa is a high-level grappler. And you've got Daniel Rodriguez on the other side. He's 34 years old, but he's much newer to the UFC. He's 5-1 in his career thus far. His only loss being to Nicholas Dalby, which a lot of people thought he won. His most notable win is probably against Mike Perry. You also probably recognize Tim Means as well. 2 notable wins. So who do I think is going to win this matchup? I like Kevin Lee here. There's obviously some concerns of him coming off of a big injury layoff, but if Kevin Lee is looking like his similar self, I really think he takes this one. I think he has a big grappling edge. I think he's a big wrestling edge. I give a slight edge to Rodriguez in terms of size and in terms of striking, but I don't think it's a super binary fight in the sense that Kevin Lee is kind of screwed on the feet. I just think that his best win condition is getting right to the wrestling, like he looked to do against, say, RDA, even though it didn't work out, or like he looked to do in many other of his fights. I think there were some things I saw on tape, particularly in the Mike Perry fight for D-Rod, where I don't really love some of his grappling technique. For example, Mike Perry shot a double leg takedown on him, went to hop over to the other side to get to side control. And instead of letting go of the guillotine and trying to work back up, Daniel Rodriguez kind of held on to the guillotine longer than he should have. I think that's a big red flag against a guy like Kevin Lee because you do not want him passing the side control. You don't want him in full mount on you. He's devastating from top. He's one of the best top games in the division. And I think that D-Rod has showed some holes in his grappling. And again, in that Perry fight, even when he was on his back, he wasn't really fishing for underhooks. He wasn't really fishing for underhooks looking to stand up. I just didn't like a lot of the technique I saw. Most of his fights have been against strikers thus far. Like, even though Perry took him down a couple times, he's primarily a striker. Preston Parsons, in his most recent fight, he finished pretty quickly as striker. Nicholas Dalby, a striker. Dwight Grant, a striker. So you kind of get where I'm going with this. He's a little bit untested in the grappling. Level of competition, obviously, is night and day. Kevin Lee has fought the better competition here. He's 6 years younger. He's closer to 30, which, again, I don't put too much stock in, but it's just little tidbits that you might find useful, that you might think plays a factor in this fight. But I do think Kevin Lee is going to win this matchup. I think he's live to get a finish once he gets takedowns. He's nasty on top. He obviously finished Michael Chiesa that way. Beat up Edson Barboza pretty bad, who you're going to see in the main event this weekend. So I don't think that the Kevin Lee line is wide enough. I think minus 150 is a good spot to bet. As of this recording, there aren't prop bets out yet for the fight, but I would consider looking at Kevin Lee wins inside distance and Kevin Lee wins by submission. I think those are probably both very in play here. I think that Kevin Lee should look to get takedowns early. I hope he does look to get takedowns early. D-Rod, as a lefty, he keeps his hands relatively low, so Kevin Lee's got to watch out coming in. But I think a clean takedown or two could really start to wear down D-Rod, and I think once Kevin Lee gets on top of you, he's not the guy you want up there. Winner of this fight's probably going to get a big fight at 175 pounds. Kevin Lee was supposed to, at 170 pounds. Kevin Lee was supposed to fight Sean Brady. Kevin Lee had to pull out of the matchup. Got rebooked. Sean Brady had to pull out of the matchup. So shout out to D-Rod for stepping up. Shout out to Kevin Lee for accepting a short notice fight. And I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. My pick to win is Kevin Lee. I haven't bet him yet, but I probably will. Gonna wait to monitor the line a little bit more. If you want to know my other bets for this card, please check out my Patreon. It's linked in the description. $25 a month, guys. It's really cheap for an entire month of bets. That's UFC, that's LFA, that's PFL, that's Bellator. That's every bet I make for an entire month for just $25. It's one of the best deals in the sports betting market, in my not so humble opinion. And if you don't mind liking and subscribing to this video, I'd really appreciate it. Just started this YouTube channel, relatively recent. And hopefully going to keep providing some more quality content for you guys. If there's any specific fights you guys want to talk about ever, feel free to hit my DMs on Twitter. Feel free to comment on this video. Let me know what you guys think of this fight. Do you agree? Are you betting Kevin Lee? Are you betting Daniel Rodriguez? What else do you like on this card? Again, let me hear it, guys. I appreciate all your support, and looking forward to the fight Saturday, and I'm sure you are as well. So enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.